Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and this is the summary for the day of 896 for the 7th of August. The frontline changes has already been published. Do check it out if you want a shorter version, but there wouldn't be much analysis there. And also, I also published the Curse Offensive update, quick update. There's an analysis in it talking about objective, the situation, the preparations by the Ukrainians. So do check it out because I don't think I want to repeat what was already mentioned in that, so that we can keep this SITREP not overly long. So I will drop the links to these two videos at the end of this video. Do check it out. And so both of those are on the main channel. So this is the SITREP is on the war channel. And okay, so we go to start off with the situation over in the Kursk front. So at the Kursk front, in summary, we do have the Ukrainian forces already launched an attack into the Kursk Oblast, and they have significant success, I would say. And however, there is, according to Russian sources, there is still a potential possibility of another big force hitting into Kursk Oblast towards Rylisk from the Kharkiv direction. So this is unconfirmed yet. This have not happened yet, at least from the point of me recording the frontline changes report, because this is recorded as per the mapping from the point of the frontline changes report. I haven't mapped anything more because this map is already too much. There's too much things already, so I want to keep everything for the next report. So this is the summary for the 7th of August only. So, and over in the in this Kursk front, there is Russians. This one is already mentioned in the previous SITREP, where there is all this shelling indicating where the potential Ukrainian reserves are. However, within this Kursk front itself, we have to break it up into the two fronts. So the northern half and then the southern half. So the northern flank, the Ukrainian forces basically have went pretty far and captured multiple settlements. I will not repeat the same repeating of all the names of all these different locations, because I already done that in the Kursk update. However, the fighting is now reportedly over at Krylenkoe, Malayan Loknia, Nikoski Loknia, as well as they have captured this though. They have captured Avdiivka. So this is the current front line here. The Russians are actually making a stand around this area. The Russian forces also retook this entire chunk of highway, which the Ukrainians basically just drive down and try to hit towards the settlement of Korinevo, but they didn't manage to reach there as the Russian forces have pushed them back. So previously there is the Ukrainian forces geolocated on this tree line. Maybe they have already lost it, but whatever it is, now the Ukrainians have captured a lot of grounds all along here, and it seems like this is where the maximum extent of the Ukrainian push over in the northern flank currently is. There will be more updates, probably will come soon, and the Putin and Shoigu, as well as the new defense minister, has been briefed. And one more guy, I don't know, I'm not very sure who is he. They're briefed by Gerasimov, and Putin looks really angry. Like he wanted to shout, is brewing inside him. I think he wasn't expecting the Ukrainians to have such a huge breakthrough. I think they would already know that the Ukrainians are probably planning something, an incursion into the Kursk front, but they never expected them to go this deep. I think that's the main thing, and maybe also he's pretty angry that there are no Russian soldiers getting captured, particularly potentially conscripts, which he really don't like conscript to be captured. So anyway, so during the battles, there is a Mi-28 that got hit by a FPV drone in the rear, in the tail rotor, and then it went down. The crew didn't die, and so in the Gerasimov report, the report as mentioned in the Kursk update is very early ones, is not the updated one, and the latest information we do have is that based on channels, we have links to Wagner and whatnot. They are saying that one of the teams of the Wagner private military contractors will be deployed to the Kursk front from Belarus. So we shall see whether this makes any difference or not. So because ultimately the Wagner groups are not very big, their forces are quite small. I don't think you can depend on the Wagner to wipe out the Ukrainian incursion. They are probably just the crack troops. They probably can, help out in terms of command and control. The main thing I think is still going to be the regular Russian forces that will be doing the fighting. In the southern flank, the Ukrainian forces currently is fighting in Sudzha itself, and they have captured most of Sudzha, particularly Gonzarovka has been taken. So the Ukrainians are still battling around here. In the southern side of this entire area here, Ukrainian forces have taken everything along the river. So this entire area here is going to be secured. The Russians is going to find it very hard to cross unless the Ukrainians have too few troops defending. Then the Russians may do crossings and launch attack through the forest, which is yeah, I don't think they have the capacity right now. The Russian forces, they seems to be unprepared at this moment. So otherwise, all the previous locations that was mentioned fighting, like Oleshnia, is all already taken by the Ukrainian forces, given the front line have already advanced this much. And as a result, you can imagine the amount of POWs that the Ukrainians may have captured, which is why there is reports that the POWs have been shown in footages to be taken into Ukraine through the Sudzha checkpoint. So the Ukrainian forces are driving them into Ukraine. Probably it's going to be useful for the Ukrainians to do prisoner exchange. So, and importantly is the fall of Sudzha gas metering station has been taken by the Ukrainians. So there is still reinforcement being reported at Avdiivka and Kianisia, and Ukrainian forces continue to send in forces into this area. And as per my analysis in the Kursk update, I mentioned that the Ukrainians likely to have 2 more forces, reserve forces. So there will be a first batch and then a second batch of reserve that can go into the Kursk front. So so this battle is not going to end so quickly. The Ukrainians have a very good plan, and the preparation, the ground movement probably have started a month ago. So this preparation has been a month. I think the Ukrainians will be ready for the longer fight. The Russians are unlikely to. I think the main force will be regrouped maybe 3 days in. So probably we're going to see within the next 48 hours, we will see the Russians starting to try to do counter-offensive. But tentatively, we don't have any information on that yet, as per the last time I checked the updates. So that's all from the Kursk front. So we move over to the Kharkiv front. So over at the Kharkiv front, we don't have reports over the Lipsy sector and Klipoke region. The only reports is over at Voschansk and at Taike region, particularly also at Volchansky Kotori. So Russian forces continue to put pressure in this area here. Oops, give me a second. The arrow suddenly stopped working. So continue to fight at the Volchansky region and Taike, and also probably shelling over at Volchansky Kotori, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. So this is the usual. The fighting over here has become very subdued or very underreported. There's not much things happening right here. It's only the Ukrainian Defense Ministry reporting. So all the attention is now in Kursk. So we move into Kupiansk front. So at the Kupiansk front, there is fighting reported in Sinkivka, towards Petropavlivka, and towards Novoosinovo, according to the Ukrainian and the Russian Defense Ministry. So there is some, and the collaboration from both sides, both are talking about the same thing, seems to suggest that the Russians are making a more serious push in this direction from Pischani. So basically, I zoom in a bit. So Novoosinovo is over there. Russians have captured Pischani, and probably this is the direction that they are heading right now. But Likely to be very, very little bit. I don't think there's a real offensive going on. Over at the Svetove front, we have fighting reported in Stemakivka as usual, and one new one is over at Novoserhievka. But yeah, that's about it though. Nothing much about this area here. Fighting is reported in the Crimea front, in the usual places: Makievka, Nevsky, Torske, and through the Serbiansky forestry. So that's about it over here. Nothing special. Over in the Sivers front, Sivers offensive continues with fighting reported at Verkhomakayamsky and Perezny. Particularly with Perezny, we have mapping updates where the Ukrainian mapping have confirmed that the Russian forces have advanced towards Perezny. So that's it for this area, corroborating what we have talked about yesterday through the confirmation via the geolocations. We move into the Bakhmut front. At the Bakhmut front, this front is also gotten very quiet, with fighting reported at Chasivya and towards Protechny, or maybe this just shelling over in Protechny region. At the Chasivya region, we have geolocation of Russian forces in around the canal region. They got attacked, but that's about it, confirming that the Russians indeed is still in this area here of the canal. But that's about it. No, very quiet. As I mentioned, the Chasivya offensive, a lot of people hype about it. They argue with me. They insist that this is a real thing, this is gonna happen. Yeah, reality is stinky. So anyway, we move on. We go over at the New York front. At the New York front, there is some updates from the Torak sector. The Ukrainians have now launched counter-offensive actions over in Pivnishny and towards Zalizny, but generally the Russians are still pushing in these directions. The Russians are also attacking at Druzhba and towards Torex. So this incursion was already reported yesterday, in the yesterday's SITREP, so I'm not going to repeat it again. But that's about it. That's all we know. The Ukrainians at least now has somewhat regrouped and try to do something around here. So this is the first time in a long time that we actually have a Ukrainian offensive being reported, or assault action or offensive action being reported at Pivnishny and Zalizny. You can see there's no previous updates around here. This is the first time. It has always been the Russians pushing. Over the New York sector, the Russians are attacking in the New York region and towards Pentemelanivka. There's some mapping updates around here. This is not necessarily a Russian attack, not really. So this is not really exactly the case. But anyway, that's about it. The real intel drop is actually over at the Avdiivka front. So at the Avdiivka front, Russian forces has expanded their control along this Pokrov sector, as well as around this Mezove region in the southern flank. Mainly is still in the Pokrov flank, where the Russians are making their main offensive. So fighting is reported in multiple regions. In the northern flank, we have fighting reported in the Novoalexandrivka, Vodizenka, toward Lysychny and Ivanivka. And Lysychny and Ivanivka, we have frontline updates with the Russian forces expanding their control, reaching to the eastern outskirts of Lysychny. In terms of Ivanivka, the Russians have captured even more grounds within Ivanivka, confirming that they have already captured 2/3 of Ivanivka. So I think within the next 24-48 hours, we're going to see the fall of Ivanivka. And further south, over in this Pokrov sector, the Russian forces has secured Vasily and heading towards Horodivka, and they have also conquered Serhievka and Zeleny. So this is the major updates, and this allows the Russians to now continue to attack towards Mykolaievka and Novozeleny, which is reported by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry and the Russian Defense Ministry as the case. So the fighting has already progressed beyond that spot, because these are firm capture position. So the actual fighting is beyond this location. The actual fighting might be actually extending away from where the firm capture is. So which is why the fighting is already reported over in Novozeleny and Mykolaievka. And So Avdiivka is captured, and I did not I forgot to put the map, the flag. So Russian forces captured Avdiivka. So 7, 8. Yeah. So give the Russian the flag. So this is a confirmed capture, because the Russian side, or pro-Russian side, is suffering from immense emotional damage because of the Kursk offensive. Ukrainians have captured so many grounds. So yeah, so this is what it is. And over at this southern flank of the Avdiivka front, Russian forces are attacking in the Moldova region, especially as they head southward towards Skushny. They expanded a little bit of control south of Novoselivka, Persia, but that's about it from that area. Fighting reported at Yasnobrodivka, Ukrainian forces getting hit by FPV drone, which was a Onsilla 4x4 armored vehicle, getting hit by a FPV drone. But that's about it. This simply confirmed the Ukrainians still have the control of the Isthmus over here, and that's it from the Avdiivka front. So the intel drop generally just confirmed that the Russians have continued the progress and the plannings around this area as they push down this route, this chain of settlements, putting pressure on Horodivka. Maybe they might attack it, continue to go down the railway line as they continue to expand and control the flanks as they move towards Pokrov. So despite the great success of the Ukrainians at the Kursk front, they really not paying attention to this potential pitfall. Pokrov, a fall of Pokrov will massively complicates Ukrainian logistics, and it may cause the collapse of multiple fronts due to longer time in terms of resupply, reinforcement, and increasing pressure on the fuel situation. So yeah, the Ukrainians really should pay more attention on the Pokrov front. So over at the Donetsk front, in the Konstantinivka Vodian region, so Russian forces are attacking in Paraskoviyevka and Konstantinivka. This continues, nothing new coming out from here. And over at the Vodian sector, we have intel drop as well, with the Ukrainian mapping confirming that the Russians have captured huge amount of grounds around this area here. And in the frontline changes report, I already mentioned that this is actually the 1, 2, 3. This is the 3 factor of attack. This is the first one, and then the 5th one is around here. So we have this update first. Oops, we have this update first, and then we had this update. So now we have the central update. So yeah, so this continues to be a massive problem as well. So we shall see how this goes. This front line is generally very strong. Even the lines has largely collapsed over the Vodian side. This is still a huge area. This 10, this 20 kilometers, and I mean this distance. Do you see this 10, 20 kilometers? 20 kilometers is like the furthest point the Ukrainians actually managed to go in the Kursk offensive. Largely they went around just over 10 kilometers, and you can see how huge this front line is. 10 kilometers goes actually all the way, almost reaching Bohoyev Linka. So yeah, so while the Kursk offensive looks very impressive, the front line here are where the traditional fightings are actually huge, very big. So there's nothing reported over the Velika Novoselivka sector. We go into the Zaporizhia front. At the Zaporizhia front, the Russians are still attacking in the Malatomashka region and at Robotine. So nothing new coming from this area. So far the change of the responsibility of the Dnieper group of forces have not seemed to spawn any major offensive yet. So we just have to wait. And we go into the Kherson front. At the Kherson front, the fighting towards Pridniprovsk continue to be reported by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, whereas the Russian Defense Ministry reported shelling at Mykolaiivka. And that's about it. So this is the SITREP for the day of 896 for the 7th of August. It's a lot shorter because most of the details I already mentioned in the the Kursk offensive update as well as in the frontline changes report. So anyway, thank you for watching. Do press the like button, subscribe, and you can also of course leave comments and let me know what else you want me to focus on, like more analysis videos and whatnot. Let me know. And of course the link to the Kursk offensive update and the frontline changes report. I'll see you guys in the next update.